we welcome in from thefourthperiod.com, and you can also follow him on twitter.com/thefourthperiod. Pick up the magazine as well on newsstands. It is... Look, that was not my idea. I don't know where he's going with that music. It is Dave Pagnotta. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Blast that, man. Just
you like Kenny G? Yeah,
turn it up.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's good. It's good. Any guy with a perm and a flute, you just got to respect him.
Hey, man, it's the retroness of that music that flocks them to you.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. Dave, thanks for joining us and saving us from D-League basketball. Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
We actually chatted for about 4 minutes on air prior to this segment about the D-League of the NBA, and
wow.
I'm ready to talk some hockey here.
I would imagine so.
So Dave, basically, we were just talking about this in the last segment here in Montreal. The conversation went kind of like this on the weekend. Did you hear hockey's back and PK's unsigned? It was literally the same thought. Right away, mid-season form, Habs fans are angry and upset and frustrated. What are your thoughts on what Bergevin's going to be able to do and whether or not PK is going to be at camp on Sunday?
I think so. I think there's a really good shot. I mean, first of all, remember when everyone was saying there's no way I'm coming back? The league is done. Blank the NHL.
Yeah.
Forget this. Everybody's back. Everyone, and you just proved it right there when you said exactly what you just said. Oh, the Habs are back, but PK. And same's going on all over the place. The Rangers want Del Zotto signed. The Dallas Stars want to have Jamie Benn locked up by the start of camp, and PK's obviously in that mix, like you said. And I really do. I think they're gonna get him done. I think there's a pressing need for it, simply because of how quickly everything is going to get going in the National Hockey League. And with Bergevin talking and meeting, so I believe he's still supposed to meet with Donnie Meehan and Mark Guy, the representatives and the agents for PK Subban tomorrow. That's going to kickstart things, and they can't officially sign until the NHL and the NHLPA both ratify the CBA. But I think there's a really good shot at getting it done.
You think it's we're looking at a short-term deal, long-term deal?
I think at this stage I'm leaning towards a shorter-term deal because of early indications are that PK is looking for some substantial dollars. And I think we're probably looking at, if that's the case and if that's what he's pushing for, probably a shorter-term deal. I've heard in and around the $5 million mark, although I believe he wouldn't. I believe his camp wouldn't mind pushing for closer to $6 million. But ultimately, I mean, he's a young kid. He hasn't proven himself to what his capabilities are. So to request the salary of that magnitude might be pushing it. I could see him signing closer to the $5 million range, to be perfectly honest.
Dave Pagnotta joining us from thefourthperiod.com. We're talking some NHL on the show here. Now, he's a restricted free agent. Are we going to see, is it because of the short time frame? Perhaps we won't, but any chance we see any offer sheets to restricted free agents? Very, very slim. Very, very, like 0.001. I mean, that would open up a whole different can of you-know-what if that were to happen. However, if they don't get him signed by the start of camp and he lingers towards the start of the regular season a week later, don't be surprised if some trade rumors start flying in about PK's status. And I know things have a tendency of going absolutely bonkers when it comes to this sort of stuff in Montreal. But I'm just warning you, if he doesn't get signed, we could start hearing some chatter there. I've already heard some things, but priority is to get PK locked up. I would think so. Good Lord. I mean, that's, can you imagine Marc Bergevin's first year on the job, or not even the season hasn't even begun, and he could potentially, lose an asset like that? I mean, you think about the personalities that have graced the Canadians' locker room over the last 20 years, and some of those drab personalities. God bless Saku Koivu, but he's not known for telling a one-liner or the riveting interviews with the media, and obviously having a guy like PK Subban is, there's maybe how many in the NHL, Dave, that have that personality and have that potential to really transcend a marketplace, maybe 10 guys, 12 guys in all of the league, and you would think that someone like that, the marketability would be seen not just on the ice, but certainly what you can do with him in terms of jersey sales and visibility for your franchise as well.
Oh, without a doubt, and his type of personality it's like other guys get kind of sucked into it, and their own real personality starts to shine and starts to come out a little bit more, and we've seen that in the last little while with a guy like Carey Price, Josh Georges being a little more vocal in the PK side of things in terms of how their personality is being reflected, and we're starting to see a bit of a shift in the Montreal Canadiens organization with these types of players. Brandon Prust is a very outgoing, vocal, fun character, and he's going to bring that to the Canadiens once things get going for them. Alex Galchenyuk is also the same. Now it's going to take him a little more time, obviously, to get accustomed to everything and to get comfortable. But he's a very comedic and outgoing kind of personality. Who's kind of stuck in this little shell that he's got right now. But when he comes out, he's PK-esque. And you've got some guys in the system that share similar traits when you're looking at guys on the back end, like Tenorti and the other young defenseman.
Beaulieu?
Yes, thank you. Nathan Beaulieu. These are guys that are very outgoing personalities, and we're starting to see that more and more with a lot of the kids that are coming up in the system. And you want to keep that nucleus together because, like you said, the marketability for these people and this organization, the potential is huge.
All right, elsewhere in the NHL, obviously the big news that people are talking about is what's going to happen with Ilya Kovalchuk, how he's still over in Russia, and whether or not he'll come back, and all that kind of stuff. From the Devils' perspective, though, I mean, this contract people thought was almost like an albatross around their necks. If he ends up staying over in Russia, is it all that bad a situation for the Devils?
It would be, yeah, definitely. They would be in huge trouble considering they've lost Zach Parise and would then lose their next best offensive player. But everyone needs to relax with Ilya Kovalchuk and Pavel Datsyuk and some of the guys that haven't come back yet. Everyone needs to chill out and take a breath. The KHL season has a break starting after Thursday for 5 days. Ilya Kovalchuk has said, and I've had a chance to talk to a couple people very close to Ilya Kovalchuk, one of whom is in Russia with him, and they've told me that he's planning on playing on Thursday, and then he'll come back. I don't understand. And he also told me that he's read a lot of the reports, and there seems to be a lot of misquoting that's been happening, and primarily because things are getting lost in the translation between what's really being meant in Russian when it translates to English is very, very different, and the meanings are very different. So I think everyone needs to kind of chill out with Ilya Kovalchuk. I've been told 100% he's coming back to New Jersey, despite even what Alexander Medvedev or Medvedev, to properly pronounce it, has said. The president of the KHL has said that if his guys want to stay, they'll do what's in their best interest. Even that quote apparently was misconstrued, and the overall meaning wasn't exactly what's out there right now from the English version. So I think for now, look, it's Tuesday. The CBA isn't going to be ratified until Saturday. Technically, nobody needs to come back to their NHL cities until then. So for Ilya Kovalchuk, if he wants to stay in game shape and play another game on Thursday, so be it.
Dave Pagnotta here on Game Points with Matthew Ross. Dave, final question for you. In Boston, we heard all about Tim Thomas wanting to take time off and all that kind of stuff. Where does that sit right now, and what's the story in terms of the cap hit for the Bruins?
Well, his cap hit is going to go against the Bruins cap. That was already predetermined. His salary isn't going to be paid. He'll be officially suspended when he doesn't report to camp on Sunday, and that's pretty much where it's going to be. He's not going to get paid. His cap hit's going to go and count against the Boston's cap, and that's pretty much it. The Bruins seem comfortable with it. They understand the dynamics of it. They understand that he's in his own little world over there, and he's doing what he feels is necessary on a personal basis and on a family basis.
He's Dave Pagnotta. Thanks so much, Dave. Appreciate it.
A pleasure, and get ready, Habs fans, because 19th against Toronto at the Bell Center. Oh, boy.
Who else would they start against? That's great. All right.
Bud.
Thanks, Dave.